Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to your weekly general with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's going to be an amazing week. Apparently, it's amazing to be with you as well. Obviously, always, but I don't know where that came from. It just kind of bubbled up. So, with that said. Obviously, these are the general energies, trends and themes for the week ahead. Now, if you are new to my channel, obviously this is an overview for the week for all of us. It's macro and microcosmic messages for all of us and often for the world and world events, etc. Now, with that said, all of this is led by my intuitive message. Every week I give a little nod to my intuition to say what is the message or the theme for this week. And sometimes it's like a mini movie or a thought or an impression or a feeling that will play out in my, through my intuition, and I translate that. And very often I'll get like a set of words that accompany whatever it is that shows up. Now, this week's message was, in order to move forward, you have to release, right? So whatever it is that you're holding on to too tightly at the moment, for fear that there might not be another, that it won't be replaced, that this is the only one, or whatever the case might be. It's almost like, so as an example, if you are like, it's kind of like, you know, when you're in jail on the Monopoly board, right? You miss your turn, and so there's no forward movement or momentum. And in order to get out of jail, you need to get out of jail free card, or you need to, I don't know what the rules are, but you need to roll a double on the dice or whatever the case might be, right? Or you have to pay the fine or whatever. And in order to get your, 200, you've got to pass go, right? Whereas, and so the message with this is, in order for you to move forward this week, there is something that you need to release. Now, yes, you could call this self-sacrifice. We are in the sign of Pisces at this moment in time as well. So it kind of, I think we're in Pisces season. Yes. All right. So, and that makes sense because Pisces energy is about self-sacrifice in some way, shape or form. Now, this isn't about like, oh, in order to move forward, you have to give something. But this week, there's a sense that whatever you are holding on to is actually stopping your progress, right? So in order for you to move forward or to have that exponential kind of blast ahead, you're going to have to release something. And this is going to require a lot of self-honesty this week. Why are you holding on to this? Why are you willing to halt your own progress? Now, as an example, if this is a relationship and you know that this relationship needs to end, that can be really, really difficult, right? I'm not saying like maybe you've been with this person for years and it's like, oh, well, I've got no choice and whatever the case might be. If you are willing to have the conversation, maybe that's the sacrifice, right? Maybe you're having to sacrifice keeping your mouth shut, or the silent treatment, just because that's the only way you maintain your personal power. Whatever the case might be, whatever you're holding on to this week really is stopping your own progress, which is just another really polite way of saying you are getting in your own way. And this week you have to be really honest with yourself about where that is. Okay, now the other thing is as well, very often when we say we can't, what we mean is we're unwilling. All right, let me say that again. Very often when we say we can't, it means we are unwilling, right? 9 out of 10 things in the world, right? Like, don't get me wrong, if there's a literal boulder stood in front of you and you can't get any way around it, then obviously you can't. But you could find a way, right? Like you could climb it, right? I guess it's a moot point, but you kind of get what I'm getting at, right? Whatever obstacle or challenge or issue or whatever the case might be, whatever you're holding on to that you're refusing to release is stopping your progress. Okay, now for your key to the week this week, or should I say our key to the week, from the Human Design Oracle deck, we have the Gate 19 and Sensitivity. Beautiful. So the message behind this card is not just that your sensitivity is your superpower. It's not just that you're going to be more sensitive. It's that your sensitivity is your superpower. And the gate 19, the reason it has this butterfly is sometimes when we're going through the greatest transitions in our lives, it feels like we are absolutely perishing, right? It feels like everything in our world is falling apart, like including us, right? This might be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, all of the above, right? I'm sure we've all been there at one point in our lives where it's like everything just falls apart. That sensitivity that you feel right now is highlighting to you the fact that you are changing, that you are shifting, that your life really is going through a process of transformation this week. And that sensitivity that you feel is to remind you, it's not to punish you or to make you feel bad, it's to remind you that something is happening here, something is shifting and changing. And in order for you to make that progress, the butterfly, or rather the caterpillar, has to be willing, right, to go through all of that sort of gloopy stage as they talk about and all the rest of it and all the mush and all the heartache. It's like, look at pregnancy and birth. Birth is like, shit, man, that whole situation is like traumatic as fuck, right, for both mother and child. It's scary and messy and gritty and grimy, and everyone's like, oh, you know, lights and the marvel and the miracle of life. Yes, that comes after, but the process of birthing a child into the world, the process of being born, right? And I remember reading an article where they said that the mother feels 10% of the pain of the whole experience. Can you imagine? No wonder nobody remembers being born. Fuck that for a laugh, right? I don't want to remember that. But the sensitivity, we're all adults. I mean, you know, if you're anyone under sort of 17, you probably shouldn't be watching Rafi, especially with my potty mouth. But, you know, that sensitivity, we're adults. We're going through it. We're experiencing this stuff. So that sensitivity that you feel, that process of transformation that is beginning for you now, it's real, right? You are feeling that. You are being transformed. You're being rebirthed in some way, shape or form this week. And so whatever you are holding on to, the caterpillar doesn't hold on to the chrysalis. It has to break out of it. For the destiny energy, right, we've got literally the 9 of Swords, right? So that makes sense. We've got the 4 of Wands. Oh, Tarot, I do love you. And we've got the Fool card, right? So if there were ever cards that literally speak to the energy of being rebirthed, but so that 9 of Swords, right? This is the challenge. It's the sensitivity. It's the worry that you feel. With the 4 of Wands, that's your foundations being rocked to the core this week. This is for all of us in some way, shape or form, something that we consider or have considered solid or whatever the case might be. The foundations of it are going to be rocked this week. And then we've got the Fool card. This comes completely unexpectedly. It comes completely out of the blue. And what comes out, I know you're probably thinking, what comes out of the blue? You'll be feeling the transition, the change, etc., and all of that. You'll be feeling that. But with the 4 of Wands and the Fool card, the way out, the ray of light, the understanding of, oh, okay, this is what it's all for, and this is what I need to let go of or to move, you know, this is what new direction I need to go in, and in order to do that, I need to leave the old one. Right, maybe that's the sacrifice, will come completely out of the blue. The answer will reveal itself. You don't have to look for it, right? All you have to do is go through this process, acknowledge and accept it. Now, on the wider world stage, this I actually think is going to be a development in the housing crisis that's going on across the world. You know, whether it's prices come down by a portion for a moment, etc., or something happens where, you know, things kind of strengthen for a moment. If you saw last week's weekly general, I talked about the dip that would happen. Well, look at this, right? I said to you there's going to be some wild swings this year. Now, in terms of the direction cards, how do we best tap into this? We have the 4 of Cups. we've got the Five of Wands, and we have the Three of Pentacles. So how we best utilize this with the Four of Cups, by really getting out of your feelings, right? You're already sensitive enough. My friend, I absolutely love it. A friend of mine is a Cancerian ascendant, and I'm obviously a Cancer moon, so we understand each other on that sort of emotional level, and we're both guys. And he's a straight guy, and obviously I'm not. But you know, we've got a good connection, and we laugh about a lot of stuff, and we get deep about a lot of stuff. And he sent me this meme that said, when you constantly rewind the bit of the song that makes you sad because it didn't make you sad enough. And I replied to him saying, Cancer placements. If you've got Cancer placements, this is us when we listen to music. And we absolutely cracked up. That Four of Cups, you got to get out of your feelings this week, right? With the Five of Wands and into your body. Get out of your feelings, right? And sometimes, I don't know if any of you ever remember this as well. There's a film called What the Bleep Do We Know? I watched this film years ago when I was like 15, and it was so fucking good. Like, it's just so good. If you've never seen it, check it out. It's called What the Bleep Do We Know? Your feelings can sometimes be the most addictive thing on the planet. Right? Get out of your feelings this week, get into your body, and you will learn something, right? Like, that's a really simple, easy way of just translating this. Now, as a collective in these cards, that Five of Wands with the Three of Pentacles can also be that there is some kind of conflict or challenge within the advice or the information that you're getting, and it might be maybe somebody gives you, maybe somebody says something to you, maybe they give you the challenge, etc., and you just absolutely get into your feelings, and before you know it, you're reacting. Get out of them, right? This week, you're being urged to do that. I'm not saying don't care. I'm not saying don't be feeling. What I'm saying is get out of your feelings, right? Get out of your feelings and into your body. On the wider world stage, this is going to be a conversation around the education system, and will probably likely feature things and issues around young people and learning, etc. What we see this week, even though this isn't an astrology reading, what we see this week is going to be a precursor to whatever Jupiter does when it comes into Gemini later this year. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's a feeling that I have, so it'll be interesting to see how this shapes up. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. I love that you guys share with me in my DMs, or post links as well to things that show up in the world and say, Raf, you talked about this, and look, this is where it's happening. So with that said, take care, and I'll see you soon.